And welcome to Movie Ruiners, a podcast about movies with brothers Nick and Reed Kennedy. Today we're joined by a special guest. He's the host of Tuesdays with Stories. He's also the host of We Might Be Drunk. His latest stand-up special, Out to Lunch, is up to 7.3 million views on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Hart.
Hey, I'm here. Thanks for having me. Comedy. I love Nashville.
How was the show?
Amazing show. We did 3 last night, which will really run you ragged, but we did 1 tonight, which felt like a breeze, so I could really stretch out and fuck around, and the crowd was great. What's that?
Said agree to podcast.
Agree to podcast. You have no idea where you're going. That's one of the perks about being a man, is like, we're going to send you a car. I don't know where you're going. I'll go. You know? I think a lady has to be like, wait, whoa, I don't know where. Who are you? Are you going to murder me? Women are always worried about getting murdered. I'm kind of like, let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think we'll have a lot harder time getting a female on our podcast.
Yeah, good luck.
Well, Mark, right off the bat, we got a gift for you.
Oh, jeez.
I know growing up in New Orleans, you spent a lot of time skateboarding.
Wow.
So we got you the soundtrack on record.
Oh, I love this game, and I used to play the soundtrack just for fun.
It's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, the
Whoa.
first one. Who's your skater? Who's your guy?
I mean, I was a fan of, let's see, who was on this one?
I was going to guess Bob Burnquist.
No, I was a Andrew Reynolds guy.
Oh, yeah.
I like Jamie Thomas, and Chad Muska was a fun wigger. So yeah, this is awesome. Thanks. What a weird gift. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Usually don't think Tony Hawk. Let me get the record of this video game, but I'll take it. Thanks.
All the Tony Hawks have pretty good soundtracks.
Pretty good music.
What music were you listening to back then?
Well, I was a skateboard dweeb. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah.
So it was like a lot of ska and punk and like Rancid, shit like that.
I think I heard you say your first concert, or one of your first, was Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit. Not proud of it.
But I watched that Woodstock 99 documentary recently. I know there were some bad takeaways from it, but I was like, one of my main takeaways was like, that was a pretty crazy show. Like, I wanted to see Limp Bizkit a little bit.
Sure. I mean, at the time, that was like a hot ticket. It was like Kid Rock, Limp Bizkit, Rage Against the Machine, Offspring.
Yeah.
I mean, Korn sucks. And like ICP and all that shit I never got into. But, Offspring's amazing. Green Day's great.
Mm-hmm.
I love that shit.
We're all 90s. We're both 90s kids.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys look young.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like Better Than Ezra. I can name so
Oh,
many. Like,
love Better Than
one
Ezra.
hit. So the story I heard on Better Than Ezra, I don't know if this is not real or not. I just always heard it, loved it. Was that they were at a open mic or something.
A talent show, a school
talent show.
Yeah,
and this band performed that was terrible. And they're like, "What's y'all's name?" And we're like, "I don't know." And the band before them was Ezra. And they're like, "We're better than Ezra."
Whoa! Wow.
That's the story. Is that like? Have you heard that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna change my comedy name to Better Than Pauly Shore.
That's fitting.
He was here last week.
So, all right.
Uh-oh. Wait on. What are these gifts? I feel horrible. You don't have to get me shit.
Just give us your time.
Come on.
So this
What?
gift, I
This
just
is too
gave.
much.
I gave him a bottle of Jack Daniels, but it's a Barrel Select. So when we actually interviewed Sam, you were, I believe, in Houston testing out the Fat Cat Rise.
Yes.
So you know more about the picking out the barrels than I do. So
Wow.
this bottle was donated by Cabin Fever Beverages in Coleman. They're our buddies. They went and handpicked this bottle, and so but is that a pretty cool process?
This is amazing. Yeah, of course. It's super fun. I mean, we're clueless, me and Sam. So we went down to Houston, went to the distillery, tasted a bunch out of the barrel. It's a whole different game. And we picked the one we liked, and they're going to make it. But I got bad news. I can't bring this on a flight.
Oh, I can get it to you.
All right. All right.
So I've already sent you a bottle. The way it works, you have to around Christmas time you can say snow globes. I always say pickles or just any type of
right.
Yeah. So and then also that's Barney.
This is unbelievable. Yeah.
Thanks. We got Sam Mo.
Ah.
And Sam was like, "That's my favorite Simpsons character," which totally made sense to me.
He looks just like Mo.
And then Barney made sense to get for you. Y'all have the We Might Be Drunk pod, and you're burping all the time.
I'm a big burper.
Huge
And
burper.
I get a lot of gruff for the burping. People hate the burping.
You would think Rick and Morty would desensitize
I
people
know.
to burping by now.
They're like, it's not funny. Shut up. And I'm like, all right. Well, I just got a burp. I'm not trying to be hilarious. But yeah.
I'm a big burper too. I don't know. I relate to it.
This is so sweet.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
you guys
think
didn't
you're-
have to do that. I feel bad.
Well, it's like so that I think Cabin Fever put one of their little stickers in there for you.
Yeah. What is cabin fever?
It's just it's a alcohol store in
Oh.
Coleman that one of our buddies runs, and they
Hell yeah.
donated the bottle.
Hell yeah.
They're good guys.
Yeah.
Oh, they donated it.
Yeah.
Damn. Thank you, cabin fever.
Yeah, don't worry about it. But
Man,
yeah,
this
if
is
anyone
beautiful.
deserves gifts, Mark, I think it's you. You've gone on so many
Yeah.
random podcasts where
Well,
Oh.
you guys are the first people to pay it back. That's nice. I've never gotten a gift in my life.
well, we're noticing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Jeez, and everybody told me to bail on this thing.
Got you another
Ah, Fusilli Jerry. Come on.
Yeah.
What is this? My Make-A-Wish?
Had to hit there. Yeah, I just thought.
Did you make
Seinfeld-
this?
No, I
Oh.
didn't. I didn't. It looks like it.
Yeah.
But
Wow. That's
Seinfeld, I
great.
know that was such a huge milestone for you getting to open for him, and
Huge.
I mean, just knowing him, that's must be crazy.
It's crazy. I have his phone number. I can give it out if you want.
Has it? I'll ask you about that later. But has
Thank you.
Has it changed like watching Seinfeld for you at all? Like, or when you're talking to him, are you ever like, oh, this is such a Seinfeld
Yeah,
moment?
that's the hardest part is the fact that like I know the show so well, it's like burnt into my psyche. I've seen it 8,000 times. So like when I hang out with him, I want to go, what's the deal with, or yada yada yada, or not there's anything wrong with that, or I'm the master of my domain, or whatever it is. But I have to hold myself back because he doesn't want to hear that shit. I remember the first time I got the DVDs for all the Seinfeld shows.
Oh yeah.
And they were talking about how they don't hang out. He was like, some reporter was like, so do you and George and Elaine hang out? He's like, no, we go home after the show. And I was like, oh, I thought you guys were friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm such an idiot.
No, that made me kind of sad.
Yeah, yeah. What the hell do I know? You know, I went to see Seinfeld, and when I was in college, was it like 2001 or 2000? Killed. It was amazing. It blew my mind. And somebody yelled out, where's Kramer? And he was like, well, he's not real.
Mm-hmm.
It's a character. And I remember being like, oh, yeah. I thought he was real, too.
So I got a question for you. My dad saw Seinfeld at some point in time, and he was with my mom, but he told me he said it was a filthy show. Was there a period of time where he was like, I don't know, cursing more? He was just like shocked by how much he cursed.
Really?
I don't know if it was just a different time or if,
I think he saw Dennis Miller or something. I think he got it mixed up.
well, he keeps telling me that. I'm like, no, there's no way.
There's no way. There's no way. I mean, unless he got heckled and he was like, get the fuck off stage or something. But no, that can't be. I think your dad's got dementia. Possibly.
Not yet, hopefully. But well, on the same Seinfeld level, though, I know you auditioned for Curb. Did you meet Larry David? Have you talked to him?
I met him once years ago at Amy Schumer's wedding.
Wow.
But I'm such a fan. He's like my all-time hero, and I didn't want to bother him. So it took everything I had not to go up and go, Mr. David, I love you. I'm your biggest fan. You have huge influence on me. And out of courtesy to him and respect to him, Schumer goes, hey, Mark, have you met Larry? And he was sitting at a table, and I was standing up over here. He was like where the fridge is. And I was like, no. And I go, hey, what's up, man? And he goes, hey, how you doing? And he goes, he's a comic. And he was like, oh, yeah, I can see that. And I was like, thank you. And that was it. And I left it at that.
Man.
He actually ended up going home with a smoking hot actress who I'll tell you later who it is.
Okay. I'm excited about that.
He was just fresh off divorce.
One of my buddies was in New Orleans one time, and he just told me this because he knew I loved Seinfeld, but he said he was just gambling or sitting around a poker table and was talking to some old guy, made a comment, made him laugh, and when he walked away, someone was like, you know who you're talking to? That was Larry David.
What?
And he was like, who's that?
What?
Oh my god!
I know. I was very mad and jealous.
At a casino?
Yeah, just at
Wow.
a casino. He said he was just
Shocked.
wearing a hat and just kind of doing his
Wow.
own thing.
Yeah, they say he's the most normal guy. Like, he's a millionaire, he's famous, he's a brilliant whatever. Hates himself, low self-esteem, just regular dude. He drove a cab in New York like he was a nobody. And that's who he is. Like, the money never changed him.
Yeah, I love that. The Curb, that's one of my favorite ones with John McEnroe, where he borrows the cab.
Yeah. That's a great one. He said he had one of the ladies, he was like a limo driver for a while, and he had a blind lady. He had to pick her up every day, and he would never wash the car. And she was like, car's clean, right? He's like, oh, yeah, it's clean, because she was blind. So he's like, what's the fucking difference?
That definitely sounds like a Curb premise.
It sounds like a premise.
Yeah, I can't wait. Curb's about to come out. It's going to be exciting times.
It's bittersweet because I'm not in it. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nah, sorry, man.
No, it's fine.
We aren't either.
Wouldn't that be a twist? You guys are like, well, we're actually in it.
I hate to rub it in. It's salt in the wound here.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite stories that I was a weird third party to. You did a podcast with a comedian from Birmingham at the time, and he's since moved to New York. His name was Gio Perez.
Oh, I love Gio.
You did his show
He's a good
recently.
egg.
He had Dan Soder on, and
Yep.
I saw he did it. So that was so cool. But Gio is classically a hard person to get conversations with. For
Is
instance,
he?
oh my gosh, man. So one time I was in his car, and I think I called him Puerto Rican instead of Dominican.
I did the same.
It was a long conversation about the differences between the cultures. But he's also a long talker in general.
Sure.
So when you did his like Instagram Live podcast.
It was during the pandemic.
It was during the pandemic, and all of a
yes.
sudden I see like Gio Perez is going live, and he goes live all the time, and I'm like, okay. And then it's like Mark
Well,
Norman is live.
I called
with
you. 'Cause
Gio.
I was like, dude,
Yeah.
do you see this?
I was like, wait, what is happening? So I'm watching it. Well, so several times you're like, all right, man, like I kind of need to wrap this up, and he'd be like, one more thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, I really got to take a shit. And you go and take a shit on
Oh,
Instagram Live while you're doing
Really?
this podcast.
Oh, I
Yeah,
don't remember
you
that.
wipe and everything.
Wow.
So this inspired this idea because you, of all people, need one of these more than anybody.
Uh-oh.
It's the Chappelle Show Wrap It Up
Wrap
box.
it up. Yeah, wow. Wrap it up, B. Wow. You didn't make this, did you?
I made that one.
So Reed made it.
Click that button. That one doesn't work, but click the button on the side.
On the inside.
Right here.
Oh. Oh, okay.
That's y'all's outro on We Might Be Drunk.
Yeah, a
I
little
just thought that'd be
cheers.
good. You can upload whatever song you want on there,
Really?
but- Yeah.
Holy shit.
I'll show you how to do it later, but
What are you, autistic? How'd
a
you
little
make
bit,
this?
a little bit.
That's
I think that's
incredible.
why I like you so much. To be honest.
This is great. Gotta put this in the studio, and
Yeah,
we might
yeah.
be drunk.
So you have the
It's on
South
loop.
Park
It
corner.
keeps going.
You gotta hit it again.
If you don't
okay.
click it after a certain time, it plays a Japanese song. It came from China.
Ooh,
At least
okay.
that part did.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
So yeah, that was. I thought, man, after that story, I was like, we need to get him a Wrap It Up box. He could definitely use that. And when you're ready to leave tonight, just pull out the Wrap It Up box.
I love it, man. You guys are good. You thought of everything. This is quite a bag of tricks you got here.
Yeah. I know prop comics aren't very well thought of, but I hope this isn't too bad.
Well, I gotta say, Carrot Top gets a bad rap, but he's actually an amazing comic.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a punchline, but he's a killer.
He was in Birmingham, and the Stardom burned down and burned his whole like trunk up.
What?
And he was supposed to go on Jay Leno the next night, and he's like, I lost my act.
Whoa.
I literally like don't have an act now. It caught on
Dang.
fire.
Wow.
Like, can you imagine like
That's crazy.
that's like such a like showing up naked to class or something.
Right.
Like waking up and you're like don't have your pants. You're just like this is
That's wild. And
such a
that's
terrible feeling.
But that's why I got into comedies, because you don't need stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you just go up and be funny.
There you go, Barney.
Yeah. So that sucks that he has to have a trunk of shit to lug around. But he's good at what he does. He gets a bad rep.
The plastic surgery's been pretty devastating.
Yeah, that's a tough look.
Yeah, because he just used to be this. I don't know. I like was a huge Carrot Top fan. I watched like his like movie that came out, like Employee of the Board,
Chairman
or
of the
whatever.
Board.
Yeah, Chairman of the Board,
Which
like,
we all know because of Norm.
Yeah.
Sadly, I'm sure
Man.
Carrot Top loves that. He's like, oh, Norm died. Now I get a fucking reboot of him roasting me.
I was even thinking of Norm when we were talking about Better Than Ezra.
Yeah, he had the
yeah.
great joke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you remember the joke?
No, I'm forgetting the joke.
Do you know it, Mark?
It's something like
It's
Better Than Ezra was at a show, and they were.
It's almost close to the talent show story you gave. It's in that vein, but
It's a really simple joke, and I'm blowing it. It's like they were way more talented than the band before them, Ezra.
yeah,
Or something
yeah.
like that.
Have you listened to?
Sorry,
It's okay.
I'm listening.
It's okay. Thanks for not going directly into the mic. But
I tried, but it won't budge.
but have you? Oh man, I think I might have. That fart just took me. Lost my train of
No
thought.
joke, quesadilla. Barbecue.
I know you go by on YouTube. You have a few other names. You have you got Mark Dorman.
Oh, yeah.
Park Norman.
Yeah.
Have you thought of Narc Norman or Fart Norman?
Ooh, that's good. That's good. I'm down. Like, some people will come to me with ideas like the Mark Dorman. I dressed up as a doorman. I went around New York, and they just came to me with that and bought the uniform. And so I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then there's Park Norman, there's Skate Park Norman, there's Roof Norman, or Mark Roofman, whatever it was. So if you got a decent idea, I'll do it.
No, you've proven that.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe even a not even good idea, I'll do it. So whatever you got, I'm in. I'm very willing to try shit. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, thanks for being on the podcast.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the gifts.
Well, we got one last gift before we talk about Groundhog Day.
Ooh.
But we got you. This is a laser disc.
Wow, are they? No, this not.
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
laser just
but
this big?
Yeah, it's.
I mean, it's a vinyl, right?
no,
It's a
it's a
vinyl.
laser disc. It's
Huh?
where they used to play. It holds the movie on it.
It is a laser disc.
Whoa.
I've never seen a laser. You
I-
always hear about them. I've never
Yeah.
actually seen one.
I knew you were like went to film school for a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought you might be able to pick it out, but you can just see some cool stuff. It has some cool facts on the back there.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. All right, hang tight. Wow. Yeah, a lot of facts. Man, this feels like Christmas. All right, I'm not going to... This is a long facts here. But, yeah, this is super cool. Groundhog Day. One of my favorite Bill Murray movies. Very philosophical.
It is. There was a lot of like religions that like, reached out to Harold Ramis like
Really?
afterwards. And he thought they were going to be like very like anti the movie, but we're like, hey, good job.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great movie. I mean, Harold Ramis is a fucking beast. He doesn't get his due. He kind of wrote Caddyshack, Animal House. He's in Ghostbusters. He wrote this and directed it.
Multiplicity.
Ah, well, that's where he fell off. But yeah. This is back when comedies were good movies. Now comedies are kind of like, whoa, wacky. This is actually a good movie. Trading Places, good movie. Coming to America, good movie.
Yeah, you're one of my favorite comedians. So when you chose this movie, this is one of my favorite movies too.
Oh.
So I was very happy. It was just like, this is perfect.
Great.
But Mark, before we get started, we got one more gift for
Oh, I can't take it.
you. We got
Wow.
Groundhog Day on Laserdisc.
This is not a laser disc. It's a vinyl.
That's a vinyl,
That's
right?
not a laser disc. It is
Oh,
a
it is
laser
a laser
disc.
disc.
Wow, I've never
right.
seen one in real life.
All
Holy
right.
shit, I've always heard about it.
All right, yeah.
Oh, you got fun facts on here? This is back when comedy movies were good.
You know, all the religions reached out
Oh,
to
really? I mean,
Ramis.
Harold Ramis is a beast.
Yeah.
Doesn't get his
But yeah,
due.
we can get into the movie now. I just
That bit
we
worked
had
well.
to
That was
do
a great
the
joke.
Groundhog gag.
I like it.
That was like,
Talking about props.
I've been dreading it for like 4 days. Should I do it? I don't know.
we were talking about like reaching out to you and talking to you and like
And feel
it was
free to
funny.
use that wrap it up box whenever you need to get out.
I'm going to
of here.
use this when I got to remember to wear a condom.
But you were
Sorry.
talking about like texting Seinfeld and that whole like he hasn't responded. Like
Yeah.
it's a similar feeling like when you're like we were trying to book comics, you're like, oh god, they haven't responded, you don't want to get on there. Like you're just like, ugh.
Yeah, comics are tough because A, we're lazy, and B, we're forgetful. So you're like, you want to do my pod? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. But then I'm never thinking. That's it. So then I need you to hit me up again to go, it's here at this time, and then I'll be there. But if you never hit me up again, I would just forget about it.
Oh yeah.
But then you don't want to be annoying. So it's this weird
It's
little...
a tough you
little
don't
give
wanna
and
be
take.
These like who are these guys that keep sliding into my DMs?
Right.
Well,
But
Mark,
you did a good job.
thank you, appreciate it. What? I know you touched on Groundhog Day for a little bit, but like, when's the first time you saw that movie? Do you love it like instantly?
I did. What is it, like 92 or...
Something like that.
Something-
92,
I think it was,
93.
93.
93? Okay, yeah. So I was 10 when that came out, but I loved Bill Murray. I loved Caddyshack. I loved Ghostbusters. Stripes. I loved Meatballs, all that shit. I loved SNL with Bill Murray. So this came out, and I was all in, and I had it on VHS and just rewatched it over and over. And it came on TV a lot back in the day. So that was back when you had cable. So there was no streaming, so you just watched what was on.
It was like a TBS movie.
Yeah.
Always on.
Always. TBS had a couple that just played. It was like Breakfast Club, Groundhog Day, Shawshank.
Yep.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, Goodfellas was on a lot. So you just saw movies over and over, and you could not watch them. You're like, well, they're on, you know? And I've seen this movie 900 times.
Yeah, and it just gets better, really.
And my dad liked it. My dad hated everything. And so the fact that I liked it and he liked it was a big deal.
A huge reason why I like Seinfeld is because when I was growing up, same thing, my dad showed me Groundhog Day. I was like, this is one of my favorite movies. I was like, oh, I love this too. But Seinfeld, if he came in after work and I was watching cartoons or something, he'd just like shake his head at me.
Same.
But if I was watching Seinfeld, he'd be like, "Oh, which one's this?" Oh, and just like sit there and watch it for a second. So I'd look cool, and like even I might have been watching cartoons a minute before, but then I'd just get stuck watching Seinfeld.
Yes. My dad was the same way. If it was animated, he was like, "Ugh, grow up, you're a retarded kid." And then if I was watching
cartoons, you're 9. Like,
yeah. But the thing is, with Friends would be on, and my dad would go, like, he would make a joke, and he would say the punchline before they would say it. And he's like, this is so predictable. This is shitty writing. And I was like, man, my dad, how does he know? And he's like, I've been watching sitcoms for 40 years, and this is just the same bullshit. And then we'd watch Seinfeld. He's like, this is different. This is new. This is original. So anything that was shitty comedy, he would trash. And so if my dad liked it, I was like, all right, this is good. And he liked this.
I was just imagining your dad guessing that punchline like the Jeopardy scene in Groundhog Day.
Yeah, right. This is just such a weird, cool premise for a comedy, and it's kind of fantasy, but still comedy, but it works.
Yeah,
and then Bill Murray can carry a movie.
I know you have said you're not a fan of sci-fi, and I feel like this is about as sci-fi as you'll get.
This is about as bad as I'll go. Yeah. Like Liar Liar, I used to love that movie, and which is the premise is so flimsy. The kid's like, I want my dad to not be able to lie, and he blows out the candles, and that's it. That just works. So we just have to believe this premise, but if you go with it, it's fun.
When we were at the beach, I got to tell him the story.
Yeah, that's fine.
So Reed was very young. You were maybe 6, 7?
I was born 91. He was born 86.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
Yeah, 5, 6 years.
So I was always watching movies I shouldn't watch when I was like 5,
I
6,
couldn't
7.
watch The Simpsons. My mom wouldn't let me watch any. Oh, I'm like the firstborn, super like, oh, you can't watch it. I had to leave a spend the night party in 3rd grade because they were watching Jurassic Park, and they thought I was just that kid.
Yeah.
So Reed gets to watch Liar Liar. We're down at the beach. I really wanted to watch it. We watch it. Well, so then the next day we go to this restaurant, and Reed goes to the bathroom and gets back. He comes back and his hair is all disheveled. He's just clearly been in a fight. And we're like, who did this? He's like, I just got beat up in the bathroom. And runs us through the whole gamut. It was like, I don't know. He had dark hair. He had dark eyes. We're like, my mom talks to the manager of the restaurant. Complains. I'm sure they comp stuff.
Wow.
And then on the way home, my mom's like, Reed, did you beat yourself up in the bathroom because of that movie we watched?
I knew it was funny. I just didn't understand why.
Yeah. Who did this to you? Kind of 6 foot, big teeth, kind of gangly. Yeah. Wow. That's a lead. You didn't knee the radiator, did you?
No, there was no.
He does that in the movie, and I was like, oh, that's brutal.
You don't even see that injury.
I know. I'm kicking my ass.
Yeah. What's great is I did that for no reason. There was no
benefit.
There was nothing. I didn't.
That's fun.
Yeah, we didn't even tell me how to pick up the check or anything.
Just a wild card.
I remember when I was a kid, I found a sling somewhere for your arm, when you break your arm. And I found it somewhere at a summer camp, and I just put it on. I was like, I broke my arm. My mom's like, oh my God. And I just made the whole thing up. It was fun. You got a rise out of them. They pretended to care, You got a hug.
Harmless little pranks.
So, Mark, I feel like you're a big people pleaser.
Sure.
Which is part of why you're here in general.
Sure.
But with that, I feel like you're kind of nice. And is there a part of you that really liked this movie because Bill Murray gets to be so mean and rude with no consequences? I was sitting there thinking,
interesting.
There might have been a little part of you that isn't that way that would like to explore that.
When he was a cunt in the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like that. I do like that. And I liked that he got a second chance, that he could figure it out. But no, I totally relate to that guy who's just cranky and cunty and mean. And he's got the niceness in him. We don't have to go through the whole movie, but yeah, it's fun when he's in the beginning part because he's a kind of a newscaster douchebag guy. And, Ned Ryerson, he's like, get out of here. You suck, But I guess I like that he turns around and becomes nice.
So follow it because you said Ned Ryerson. Do you have a Ned Ryerson in your life that if you ran into right now, you'd be like, oh.
Oh, I got a million Neds. I got a million Neds. Too many Neds. Because New York has a zillion people in it. It's got a million comics and guys you used to work with or waited tables with. So when you bump into them, they're like, hey, how's the career? What's going on? What are we doing? You want to get a drink? Da, da, da. And you're like, oh, how do I get out of this? But, yeah.
You should just do what Bill Murray does and hug him and ask him if he can cancel the rest of his day.
That was improv.
Yeah, I read
Was
that.
it?
Yeah.
It was just supposed to be give him a hug and say you miss him. And they said that like Andy McDowell too she's always like genuinely laughing throughout the movie because Bill just kept everyone on their toes.
Yeah, yeah.
Actors are supposed to kind of be able to know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And Bill just always improvs.
Wow.
Did you know too the movie was shot in like reverse order?
No.
Because Ramis knew that Bill Murray over time gets like disillusioned with shooting and gets grumpier over time. So he shot the happy scenes first.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's kind of sad though at the same time.
A little bit, but the cool thing is Ramis knew and used that.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
Well, the first part of the movie when he's the weatherman like in studio, they shot that like months after the film was in the can because the storyline didn't make sense because it kind of opened up with him already in Puxatawny. He was like already in Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
And
the original script.
that's what the original script called for. So Ramis was like, all right, I think you need to know the character and see him getting here.
Yes.
And not just waking up there.
For sure,
Which makes a lot of sense. Like we watched during the pandemic and we reviewed Palm Springs.
Oh, good movie.
It was really fun. It was similar to this.
Very similar.
But you wake up and he's already in it.
Right.
It's kind of more to the original premise. Palm Spring was.
I would agree. But Reed, we were doing that podcast and Reed kept throwing it back to Groundhog Day because he loves Groundhog Day so much. So it was like, all right, let's keep talking about Palm Springs. Like, well, Bill Murray would have done it like when you did pick Groundhog Day, I was pumped for Reed because I was like, man, you're one of his favorite comics. It's his favorite movie. Like, this is just the perfect storm.
All right, great. Yeah, and great fact. Keep them coming if you know more.
I got a few.
Please.
A few humdingers.
The kid that fell out of the tree ended up growing up to become a newscaster.
Hey, look at that.
I thought it was fun, too, that Bill Murray goes from being a weatherman that can't predict the weather or can't predict accurately to being able to predict everything.
Oh, yeah, good call. Good observation.
And also, Bruce Almighty. Isn't that weird? There's other like newscasters with like, I don't know, godlike powers. I don't know. I just kind of thought something else. I don't know.
Interesting. No, I can see that. Yeah, that's a weird
I
coincidence.
don't really have words to connect it all, but.
By the way, how great is Stephen Tobolowsky, Ned Ryerson? That guy kills it. Bing!
He's so good. Chris Elliott's so
Chris
good.
Elliott's great.
I forget every time. Like I forget he's in this movie every time. And then I see him. I'm like, oh, yeah, Chris Elliott's in this.
Wait, who's Chris Elliott?
He's the
camera guy.
The camera guy.
Oh, yeah.
But he's had one of those careers where it's like the most unassuming long career where you're just like, oh, yeah, he's in this.
Yeah,
he's in that.
Yeah.
Like he was in Schitt's Creek that was just
right.
won so many awards.
Right.
And like, I mean, I think.
Something About Mary.
Yes.
He's in Something About
great
Mary.
in that.
Like, Woogie.
Woogie.
Like, he's great in that. Like, there's just.
You ever had a whitehead on your eyeball?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. He's a killer. He was on Letterman back in the day.
I forgot he's on SNL.
Yeah.
And then his daughter ended up doing SNL, and she was on How I Met Your Mother for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like, I don't know. You see that a lot where you're like, I didn't even know this guy, like, did all these things, let alone, like, has a daughter that's doing all these things.
Yeah.
He's got a great presence. Like
He does.
He's just goofy, just standing there being in the shot.
I know, and he's subtle in a funny way. Bill Murray's also subtle, but so good. Mm-hmm. You can't put your finger on why he's good, but he's great. Norm Macdonald kind of had that. You're like, this guy's just great, but I can't figure out why Bill Murray's great. He's almost like winking at the camera, like we're all in on this. Me being a funny guy. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but he's got something.
Well, I feel like Groundhog Day, too, especially feels the most true to Bill.
Yes.
And just like his character. Even like the pranks he's doing, it feels like what he does in real life a little bit. You know,
Right.
Just like some of the odd behavior.
Yeah, you can kind of just tell he doesn't give a fuck. And it comes through somehow. I don't know. It's amazing.
I was curious, did you attempt to learn piano because of this movie?
Wow.
During
That's
the
a great
pandemic.
question. That it is what I think of when I think of a cool guy playing the piano at a party. Like he just gets on the piano at the end with the sunglasses, and I'm like, I want to be that guy.
Oh yeah.
And so that did factor in when I bought the piano. Wow, man, you just tapped into my fucking lizard brain.
Movies. Watching movies till we die.